For more on this, let's bring in Anna Palmer. She's a Politico senior Washington correspondent and co-author of the Politico Playbook. She joins us now from Washington. Anna, we've been reporting, you at Politico have been reporting all morning long on the president's use of the word S-holes to refer to a group of African countries as well as Haiti and El Salvador. How could these comments potentially affect lawmakers who are currently working on an immigration deal?
I think it actually could have a really big impact. What is so stunning about these comments is they came as Republicans and Democrats were trying to find a path forward. They had a lot of positive comments. They've been working together. There had been a deal in the Senate that wasn't going to be the final deal, but was kind of one of those stepping stones for a progress on DACA. And now I think you're going to have a real question of, do Democrats go forward? Do they feel like Republicans and the president can be, worthy actors, and are they going to be honest brokers in these kind of negotiations, or is the president's actual feelings about immigrants what happened in that meeting?
We heard from Dick Durbin. I think many people are waiting, and we've heard from some Republicans as well. Many people are waiting to hear from more lawmakers, get their reaction to this reporting. We are entering an election year. Midterm elections are on the horizon. Dozens of Republicans have already announced that they will not be running for re-election. What are the implications of these comments on the Republican Party looking ahead to the midterms?
I think there's two things that really are at play here. The base is used to this kind of rhetoric, and in some parts really likes this kind of rhetoric from the president. This is not something that is kind of that out of bounds from what he said on the campaign trail and what he has said in other kind of comments in the past several months. But as far as Republican establishment Republicans, that goes for the Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who are trying to recruit Republicans to run in what is going to be a very difficult year for them. This is not helpful. You've already seen several, as you mentioned, retirements from key races that were going to probably be tough. And there's a feeling that this could actually impact and have other Republicans say, you know what, this is just not the environment that I want to run in because I don't want to have to defend Donald Trump on the campaign trail.
And so here's the thing, Anna. We've seen some criticism, some statements that have been released by some Republican lawmakers. Mia Love, who's Haitian American, she represents a district in Utah. We've seen Marco Rubio, others who represent districts where they have Haitian immigrants or a large Haitian community. But we haven't heard from the leadership of the Republican Party. Are you hearing from your sources that we will? And this is sort of a two-part question, but I'll let you answer that first question.
They are definitely going to have to answer this, whether it is in the next coming hours or two. I think usually what the leadership does in these kinds of instances and have when dealing with President Trump is they kind of let the dust settle a little bit, and then you're going to have them answer these questions. But I know, and I've talked to Republicans this morning who say, you know what, this is not what we wanted to be talking about. We want to be talking about the tax law. We want to be talking about the wins that Fiat's bringing a plant back to Detroit. And instead, we are once again distracted by the president's comments. And
okay, so then, and the other question that I had for you is some outlets have reported that within the White House, there were some people saying that they weren't as concerned about this as perhaps the liberal media or snowflakes, because the words that the president used in the Oval Office, which are confirmed by Senator Durbin, are words that the base uses, that the base understands, and this is a discussion about immigration, and the president is talking about countries that you or I, Anna, wouldn't want to move to. And I wonder if that's what you're hearing too, that there are actually some people in the White House who think that this is a good thing for the president's base.
Sure. I think there's probably two camps, right? At least in the White House right now. You have that camp for sure that is, kind of the Steve Bannon wing that is still there, that is not afraid of trying to use these kinds of terms and try to kind of inflame kind of racial tensions in this country. And then you have the other camp, and there are a lot of them that are White House aides who are very frustrated that we have once again talking about this kind of a dramatic situation instead of actually what they are trying to get accomplished. And particularly when you look at 2018, they want to be able to sell this tax bill because it's probably going to be their only big legislative win going into that election.
Vlad talked earlier about reading some of the headlines from around the world, the reaction to these comments. You talked about a German newspaper basically questioning the president's sanity. Right. So certainly there is backlash here, but beyond these borders, there's also backlash to the United Nations. decry the president's comments, calling them racist. What are the practical implications of these sorts of comments on the international stage?
You know, I talked to a lot of senators who have been on the world stage, have been going and doing kind of different delegation meetings and things like that. And the real thing that we keep hearing from them in these kind of private conversations is that there's a lot of people nervous across the world about what is Trump's sanity? Does he actually mean what he says? Is this kind of a strongman tactic? And so I think what this does is it serves to have another point of contention of saying, what is America's position? What does America first mean that when this president says it? And you know, is the standing of the U.S. as kind of the leader in the world going to be taken down a notch?
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, if there's an economic deal, a trade deal that's going to be hammered out between the United States and, for example, a country like Nigeria, which is the largest economy on the African continent, that probably is going to happen because it's in the interest of both countries. But the president and the White House have to be cognizant of the fact that in Nigeria, there are some 175 million people. And those people, the government always has to be wary of their sentiments when it comes to the United States. And so, on one hand, you want to be able to say, look, we think that the president's comments are racist. On the other, you have to be cognizant of the people within your own borders who are wondering why you would coddle up to somebody like President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen strong words from across the world, kind of rebutting and saying that this is not an appropriate term to be using. This is not an appropriate kind of use of the power for America. You had even, you know, he said kind things about Norway apparently in that meeting, and you have had the Norwegian government come out and kind of rebuke him as well. So I don't think you're going to have a lot of allies for President Trump on this. So far, there's been nobody coming out saying, oh, that is accurate. That's how we should be describing other countries.
So meanwhile, there's actual real work that needs to be done by lawmakers. We have a government shutdown, a deadline for a government shutdown looming on the 19th. This is the sort of stuff that requires bipartisan cooperation. What, if anything, is being done to avoid a government shutdown?
Yeah, we're 7 days away, and in congressional terms, that's a long time, obviously. Deals get done right at the last minute, oftentimes. And, you know, yesterday it seemed as though we were going to have a short-term government funding, so they were going to kind of punt the ball a little bit further down the road to try to come up with this big deal that they have kind of been very elusive, and that, you know, includes DACA, some kind of an immigration package. It includes spending caps, spending $100 billion on domestic and military spending. And so these are the things that they're really grappling with. I think that the issue is going to be 7 days from now, Republicans are going to need Democrats to support this kind of short-term funding bill. And the question is going to say, you know, are they any closer on this immigration deal? And if they're not, a lot of Democrats have said they aren't going to vote for anything.
Mm-hmm. And Anna, I know that you are on the takeout this week. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys talk about with correspondent Major Garrett?
Yeah, we had a ton of fun. We had some tacos for breakfast. It was great. I'll do the takeout anytime.
Where did you go? Because we always ask Major, what's the restaurant shout out?
Yes, we went to District Taco. I had not been there for breakfast, and it was delicious. I recommend it. They were great, and we had a really great conversation with Major, talking a lot about, well, you know, I write Playbook in the morning, which is a newsletter that's for insiders, but that is distributed, you know, around the world, and a lot of politicos or people that are interested in politics read it, and so kind of what we do and how do we kind of come up with that, and then also just what the environment is like as reporters in Washington, what's coming from the White House versus what we see on the Hill. Jake Sherman and I were on the takeout with him, and we had a really good time kind of talking about all those things.
Sounds
Cannot
good.
wait. Yeah, the takeout. That's
Yes.
coming up. When are we releasing tonight, right? Comes out tonight, 9 p.m. on CBSN. Anna Palmer, thank you so much for just a great chat. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.